So uh, in last session we have talked about while loops. So this is the list. We have talked about list as well. List is basically collection of items which may or may not have a similar data type. They can be of different data types as well. So let's create a dummy list of, let's say, accounts A1, A2, A3 and A4, and I simply want to print the list. If I execute the program, I will get the list. Okay, this is what we have seen. Also, we know that to print particular item in the list or element in the list, we have to give the index in the square brackets. If I want first element A1, index always starts with 0. So I got A1. Okay. Also, in last lecture, we have talked about while loop, how we can print each element of the collection or a list using loop, right? So what is the syntax? Keyword while, some condition, colon, and the statement which we want to execute in a loop, that should be indented or nested inside a loop, inside a while loop, right? What will be the condition? Condition should be, so we have to first create a counter, internal counter, which will track how much times we want to execute the loop. So we want to start from 0th index. So counter equal to 0, and condition will be counter is less than or equal to 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. Okay. And also we have to increment the counter by 1. Let's try to execute the loop. Now I'm getting A1, A1, A1. Okay, so why I'm not getting? Because the index is static, always 0. So even if I'm getting, statement getting printed multiple times, but still it is, printing the 0th index element. So instead of 0, I simply want to replace with count. So it will get incremented. First time it is 0, then 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Now we are getting A1, A2 and A3. But why we are not getting A4? Because my condition is count is less than 3. Okay. So if I do less than 4, then I'll get all the elements. 0, 1, 2, 3, all the indexes. Okay, so in while loop, this is working fine, but still we have to do a lot of manual stuff, like we have to, maintain the counter, initialize the counter, and again, increment the counter again and again. So this is a manual process, right? There must be some other way to do it, smartly or in a less code. So that's where for loop comes into a picture. Syntax is for is a keyword, then any variable you can put el or x in the list, that's all. And with proper indentation, you have to just print x. X is nothing but each item in the var list. Okay, x is just a variable, it can be anything, x, y, z, anything, right? Var list is our iterable variable. So it must be of collection type. It should have some collection of items within this var list or any variable which we are getting here. Okay, so let's try to execute it now. Bingo, very simple, right? So just we have to put for element or for x in the var list, print x. So automatically it will handle the counter, counter part and everything. We don't have to increment it, we don't have to define it, and loop will automatically end once the list or items in the list will get over, right? We can add some custom message as well. So hello A1, hello A2, A3 and A4. Okay, so this is how simple it is, the for loop. Now when I said for x in var list, so var list must be iterable object, right? What if I try to I try to do var1 equal to integer and then loop it, then use it as a list in a for loop. Okay, this can be any variable name, it can be anything. If I try to execute it, oh, see, this is giving me error that int object is not iterable. So int is a primitive object, it is only single item, it is not collection of item. Okay, but instead of that, if I get a string object calling hello world, okay, I'll remove this hello part. I will simply each element in var1 is string. Now you see it got executed. So string variable is nothing but collection of characters, and that's why it is iterable object. Okay, hello world is a iterable object, and that's why it is working with for loop, and each element is nothing but each character in a string. Okay, and you see this loop automatically gets ended when the string gets completed or after the last character D. Okay, so this is our for loop. Syntax is for element in iterable object variable colon and then whatever statements we want to execute. If we don't give var1 as a iterable object, it will give us the error that object is not iterable, and then the statement which we want to execute in a loop. So that's the for loop. Let's practice it now. Okay, so long story short, for loops, so first is for repeating execution of the same code block, loops are used. Okay, there are mainly two types of loops, while loops and for loops. If we talk about while loops, so when we want the loops execute till the condition is true and we don't know the definite range or number of times we want to repeat the loop, so in such cases condition based looping, while loops are used. Syntax is as shown on the screen, while then condition, so till the condition is true the loop will execute. Okay, second type of loop is for loop. For loop is basically used when we are dealing with iterators or iterable types of objects like list or set or tuples. So like shown in examples, if we have one tuples called fruit and we want to execute for each item in the loop, then in such cases we will use the for loops.